We're running a few minutes late. We started here at 7:16. We had executive session to discuss some personnel matters as well as litigation and real estate. So with that, that's why we were across the hall and we're a few minutes late. Before we take the roll, Michael, you did have an announcement that you wanted to make.
We're having a little Ravine Street light up night, Kirk Street light up night this Friday evening. We're having a Toys for Tots drive, and we'd like to invite all of you to come down. A few members were there last year, and they've seen what we put on, and it's a nice display. We have Santa, toys for the kids, and food, beer, drinks, anything you'd like. It starts at 5 o'clock Friday on Kirk Street. We'd just like for you all to come down.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Preliminary announcements from council. Anybody have any preliminary announcements?
Yeah, I got one. I just want to mention about Christmas tree sales on #1 Fire Hall. That the guy that was there last year, we think he did a pretty bad job. So, he didn't really have no good trees. So the guy we always had is coming down again. He's going to start this year, but he's only going to be here on weekends. So
Joe's coming back.
Joe's coming back, but just on weekends. You don't want to spend the whole time down here like you used to, because you will have quality trees. And just to let everybody know, they'll be open all weekends only. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. Next, we'll take the roll.
Councilman Ballas.
Present.
Councilman Shields.
Here.
Councilman Bodine.
Here.
Councilman Brennan.
Here.
Councilman Foss.
Here.
Councilman Ingalls.
Here.
President Lloyd.
Present.
Four.
Persons addressing council, comments limited to 3 minutes. Avoid references to personalities. Do we have anyone that would like to address council? Sir, step to the podium. State your name and address, please.
Good evening. This is Michael Toten, 229 West Larkspur Street, Bonham Gardens. Have an issue with the tax collector here in the borough. Mail gets kind of mixed up with the gardens since there's an east side and a west side, and the house numbers are the same. Even with FedEx deliveries, people sometimes get the things mixed up. I received my tax bill about a week and a half after the due date. I sent the check into her, made out to the correct payee. She sent me back a live item. And her excuse was that she's under orders from her auditors not to receive late payments. Common sense dictates that you would cash the check and then issue another statement for the interest for the interim period. Now, why didn't she do that? Is she here?
Right here.
Yeah, Donna, do you want to address that?
I received Mr. Toten's first installment payment that was due on August 31st, postmarked September 27th. State tax collector law says that I am to return any wrong payments.
It's not a wrong
So there
payment,
was-
it's made out to the correct payee.
It is the law. It's my rules that I have to follow through the state. It's in our manual. The bills were sent out in July. So Mr. Toten, when he was screaming at me on the phone and leaving some very nice messages on my answer machine, he said that it was rerouted to East Larkspur Street. So there is no 229 East Larkspur.
Yes, there is.
So I contacted the mailman. I asked our mailman out there, who knows all of us by name, and I asked him if he was on vacation at that point. He said no. So I called the post office, and they told me that they would have handled this in-house and missorted it. It would have went back out that same day or no later than the following day. But regardless, it doesn't matter when it was claimed that the bill went out. in my tax collector procedures that I follow, it says, and I gave it council a copy of all this, it states that effect of failure to receive a tax notice, the taxpayer is still responsible as a responsible homeowner to pay their taxes. So I cannot take anything that's not in my hands or postmarked. That first payment would have been August 31st.
Which I didn't receive until it was several days before I wrote this check.
But that was, it went out July 2nd.
I never got it.
But you're still responsible to pay it, that's
How
what
can
I'm
I,
saying.
how can I pay it when I don't receive it?
You know when they are every year,
No, I don't.
okay?
No, I don't. So, return to live item, you know, she shouldn't even be handling, you know, checks. They should go to the lockbox, to the bank, they'll be cashed within 48 hours, and then she'll be working from, you know, copies of the checks. That way the money will go right into the borough's account, go right to the school for it.
Mike explained this to me before, you know more about that data about the lockbox, how would that work?
Well, I'm not an expert on
Right, I don't know.
lockboxing. Dawn, I just, the issue is, I guess, if it comes in as an on-time payment, but it's not on time, you return,
I have to
correct?
return it, yes.
So that there's not this, I paid it on time, you should have took it and billed the difference. And that's just not how she does it, because then she has to make up individual tax bills. She sends out the tax bills that come from the county on the duplicate. And typically, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not sitting down there making up individual tax bills.
No,
or
the
bills.
school actually orders them.
The school gives them to you or
Yeah,
has them
right.
sent out.
This is a school district bill you're talking
This is school,
about.
this isn't
This
borough.
is school district, yeah. This is the borough.
Doesn't matter, she's still.
What would happen if the tax bills went out and somehow they all got lost in the mail?
Everybody will still owe their
You still owe your
taxes on
taxes,
time.
sure.
Yes.
Right.
But, you know, to return it and not even cash it, go ahead and cash it. You know, the money's sitting. And now, without any other proper documents, I'm late for the second payment. It's due on October 31st.
No, you're not, you're actually not eligible for the installment.
You know, so,
So if you get the check late, what's the procedure? You send it back.
Yes,
You're not allowed to cash it.
no,
makes no sense.
Those are the state tax collectors.
That's the state.
The state of Pennsylvania governs that?
yes.
A lot of things don't make sense, the state does.
That makes no sense.
Donna, there's
Now, I
another
got a question for you. What if someone's paying under the installment plan, the first payment comes in timely, so they're credited with a 1/3 timely payment, but the second check comes late? What do you do then?
On their coupon, there's a late, it says like October 31st is the due, and then there's a penalty amount also.
Okay, but if they send in late, or they send the face amount in, but it's late, you send that check back?
Yes,
And so then at the end of the tax year, then they're credited with a partial payment, because you've already deposited the first check?
correct.
Okay.
So, don't know what I'm gonna do with it. You know, so just let it sit, and then whenever, send out notices for delinquent payments, you know, then, that's when I guess we'll get taken care of.
Mr. Toad, I'm not dismissing your issue as light, but the tax collector in the borough is an elected position, and she follows the rules that the state gives her according to their rules and their solicitor. So it's really not under our purview to change the way that she collects the taxes.
Yeah, she's not an employee of the borough, sir. She's an independent elected official, and we don't direct her, you know, in how to perform her
It's time
duties.
to change that from elected official to a interviewed, appointed official.
Well, you'd have to go to your state government to try to achieve that.
So, thank you for your time.
All right,
Thank you. Next, anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Step to the podium. Oh, okay, you're fine.
Okay.
State your name.
My name is Nancy Capp. I'm from 2124 Walnut Street in Munhall Gardens. I just realized this evening that this building really isn't in compliance for handicap accessible. Normally, when I come up to this building, someone opens the door for me, usually like my husband, and I go through. Tonight was the first night I've ever come up by myself. Now, I can't grab that door handle, pull it open, operate my wheelchair to get in, because I'm physically not able to hold a door with my right hand, operate this with my left hand because this is my weaker hand in order to get in. Then when we got in, both doors are locked, and then we had to push for someone to open that door to allow me to get through, which again, I would not be able to open that door to get in. There needs to be some sort of, where you could push, that it would open the door automatically so that you could get through, rather than let me sit out there and hope somebody comes up and helps me get in.
We'll certainly take a look at that. You're talking about the door by the ramp out front?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the door, once you get in, both of those doors were locked.
The indoor.
Yes,
We'll take a look at that, man. Thank you.
thank you.
The dispatcher or whoever was there who would operate that door on the side of the dispatch area.
He did do that.
Apparently you didn't know the person was waiting.
I had to push, actually, my husband had to push that in order for us to get in.
You couldn't reach it?
Well, I could have if I was a little bit higher.
We'll take a look at it.
And my wheelchair is kind of high.
Interestingly, when that was done, and that was before my time, that was done for handicap accessibility.
When the bill was passed, we did that.
Right.
But the code might have changed since then. It might have, it might not have been updated. It was built to the code back in like '97, but I don't know what happened after that.
We'll certainly look into it.
Thank you very much.
Scott, you had your hand up.
It was just for her, that's all.
Oh.
Okay, that was just.
For her. Okay, very nice. All right. We would like to move to approve the October 15, 14 regular council meeting.
We have comments on agenda items.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry, Donna.
That's
I
okay.
was just trying to see if I could get that past you.
I know you were.
That never happened. Only the days we work.
Kevin Williams, on Dewey Street. Had a question on the budget, on the miscellaneous. That's a large amount there, 100,000. Does that get broken down at all, of like where that is all going and that?
I can address that. Since you didn't come to the podium, the question was, if people didn't hear it, on I guess the last page of the handout, the question, the miscellaneous item of $100,000, is that correct, sir?
Yeah.
That's not broken down there, but I can tell you that's liability insurance, police liability insurance, errors and omissions insurance, and workers' compensation insurance. That makes up the $100,000 payment.
That miscellaneous question's come up quite a few times over the last few months. Maybe we should change how we.
If we break it down, then we can, but
I mean, just a short summary, like more or less what you just said.
okay.
Insurance, blah, blah, blah.
If that's the answer to your question.
Are some of those annual payments, Bob, or biannual?
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully.
Liability insurance is an annual payment.
Annual.
Any other questions, Donna?
Would you like me to go to the podium?
Yeah, please. I mean,
Okay.
let's follow protocol.
We can do that. I thought my voice does carry.
Just your influence.
Thank you. The outcome of the executive session, is there going to be any other items added to the agenda tonight?
Not on my part.
Not that I know.
No, there will be a motion to approve the Campbell Foundation to begin preliminary analysis and study of the improvement to West Field that they have volunteered to make as a pure donation to the borough of Monmouth.
Yes, no cost to the borough? Will there be any other items added to the agenda? Was there anything discussed in the executive session that could have been discussed in the public session?
No.
Some
Nothing,
small talk amongst ourselves, but nothing serious.
nothing seriously? Should have been a better? Can you tell me what the small talk might have been?
Mr. Brennan and I got in an argument, so we could.
Maybe repeat later, they may argue
We
again.
may argue again, but I
They argue.
Okay, I'm just wondering, because sometimes people don't understand the,
right.
We sometimes have to remind ourselves, and the question did come up on something, is it a matter for executive session, or can we talk, or is it public? And we said, no, that's public, we can't talk about it here. So we do remind ourselves at times that there are only certain things we can talk about.
well, that's good. That's a nice thing. Motion 1. I believe we already have an appeals board, but I think it has never met.
Correct.
Okay. So we're going to advertise for new members, or are they going to keep the same members?
And this is
This is
to
a regional
join a regional
Oh, the
board.
regional, okay, but we do have our own appeals board,
We do.
correct? Is that going to take over that then?
Yes.
Okay. Motion 3. Did the primary delegate not want reappointed?
Who's the primary delegate?
Scott Mason.
He wasn't approached. Does he attend the meeting?
There you go. And we didn't get a letter from him.
Okay.
We got your letter.
Okay, that's because I attend the meeting.
Yeah.
Good thing I do, because sometimes they need me for the quorum. How many meetings I went to and they didn't have a quorum? Okay.
The alternate does step up as the delegate, in
The
the
alternate
absence of
can
the
go,
delegate.
the alternate can go even if the delegate gets there.
They both do go,
I
right?
still have that weight.
Yeah, it's an interesting meeting. Motion 6, was this position advertised?
No.
No, was there a reason why it wasn't advertised?
This is a person who was here before, and we've approached her to return, and she said yes.
Okay. Motion 8. Will this be applied for the first of the year?
Yes.
What's the
And-
amount involved in?
Not sure yet. I'm gonna say about 800,000 right now, roughly.
With motion 7 and motion 8 being, since we have 2 motion 7 and 2 motion 8s being paid, what will our balance be after these bills are all paid this evening?
I'm not sure yet. We still have other receipts coming in. We probably have roughly 500,000 to 600,000.
Okay, also, where do we stand on the budget? Because a lot of different boroughs are already passing their budget for next year.
We'll have a budget for council by Thanksgiving, and then we'll set up a schedule for presentation and public hearing in December. We have the December 31st.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else on agenda items? Okay, we'll move on. We have a motion to approve the October 15th regular council meeting minutes.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Motion carries. Reports from borough officials. Mayor.
I hope you'll excuse me if I just remain seated. Seated. No? Then I'll get up.
You have to go to the podium and state your name.
No, Mr. Chairman, no. Couple items. We want to talk about our Christmas light up night. Naturally, there's flyers over there on the desk. It'll be Friday, December 5th, 2014 at 6 o'clock. We will have our regular beautiful program. We will have Santa Claus there, and we will be able to come inside afterwards, whether it's inclement weather or not, to enjoy some cookies and coffee and whatever we have. While we're on it, I talked to Councilman Bodadian, and he informed me, as he mentioned, about the evergreen trees. We need about 6 regular evergreen trees, 7-footers for the front, plus one bigger one, 12 to 14 feet. And Mr. Shields had mentioned to me earlier about, let's put a Christmas tree up on Caroline Street, Main and Caroline, on, it is actually a Ronnie Watkins memorial. And Mr. Shields mentioned it to me, and he asked to get another tree. So, Barney, you want to say anything more about that?
No, I just drove by and thought it'd be a nice place to have a tree for the holidays.
It is, it's a good
Spot
idea.
there right there. And
So, Rich,
talk
we'll
to
need
Bob
another
about it. And
You want an extra one?
another 12, 14 footer. Yeah, we want to decorate that. That's a great place to put it. good idea. I see we have our stop sign in place, so we can forget that. The clerk that we'll be rehiring was here before, did an excellent job, and I'm glad to see the council in their wisdom decided to bring her back, because she is very outstanding. Now, in the same breath, I want to remind council that the police desk still needs a guy there for 8 hours, and I'm asking again to have our gentleman down there, Mark, down there for 8 hours a day, with his hours interchangeable. And last but not least, last month I passed out a due structure from the new merged COG, which is going to be the Still Region COG, combination of the Twin Rivers and also Still Valley COG. And the municipal dues were there. We had quite a discussion, but as you saw in my paper, it was there for mostly for input. We had more than input. We had a lot of BS fly back and forth. But regardless, if you look at the new municipal dues schedule that was passed out, you'll see Munhall was not only dropped from the 20-some thousand they had last year, they were dropped down all the way down to 12,500. And I want council to take note of that. And I also want to give credit, as we discussed this at our meeting, at the COG meeting, to Councilman Vodadine and Councilman Ballas, who made the motions and got it passed. So with that, I'll entertain any question or anything you want to talk about.
I want to commend you, Mayor Olso, in, working to get that reduced for us too.
We tried.
That wasn't easy.
Good job, Joe and Rich.
Thank you, Mayor.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mayor. Solicitor.
Thank you. Just one quick item. We are moving forward on 7 additional properties that have been identified for condemnation and demolition. Quickly, they're 1314 Margaret Street, 1309 Margaret Street, 1124 Creek Street, 920 Creek Street, 1207 Cole Road, 1915 Ravine Street, 1224 Ravine Street. My office has completed all the title searches on these properties. We've completed the notices of condemnation. They've been mailed to the borough manager. He now has to decide on hearing dates and complete the notices and some tasks he has to do. The properties have also been identified for purposes of engineering inspection, forwarded to Lindsay. I know that's something she started working on this week. We need engineering reports for all of these, so that is underway. That's all I have at this time to report.
What was the 2 on Kirk Street?
Pardon me?
The 2 on Kirk Street?
920 and 920 Creek Street, could that be right? And this says...
Yeah, because that's the one I've been right up on.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
1124 Creek Street, 920 Creek Street.
Where's 1124?
I couldn't tell you where that one is.
Thanks, Greg. Bob.
I don't really have any report other than the motions that you had before you. As far as the budget, behind on my schedule anyway, but we will have a preliminary budget to you and sent to you by Thanksgiving. And then we'll have arrangement for a couple of budget meetings, and then we have to allow at least 10 days for public inspection before it is finally adopted, and we'll probably be running pretty close to deadline on December 31st.
Any other questions for Bob, council? If not, Lindsay?
Thank you, Mr. President. I did conduct all the site visits for 9 properties yesterday, and we'll finish the reports and supporting pictures and submit that to both the borough manager and the solicitor. No issues with anything that I saw, and that's the only new item on my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Lindsay? If not, Bob, Bison, Public Works?
Okay, I gave you a copy of my report. On my report, if you notice, we changed recycling times again. We're back in Hazelwood. And there was no charge as of now, so.
Saves us a lot of fuel though.
The time. The department reports were sent out to council and by email. You don't have the paper copy in front of you, but they were sent out the other day.
Well, do we know how much recycling we take to that center every week or every month?
Between 12 and 16 ton a week.
Is that,
It wouldn't go into a landfill.
Right.
is that up?
We were paying about $15 a ton dumps out on the wires.
The tonnage we take though, is that what it's been steadily, the 12 to 16, is it down, is it
About steady for the last couple of years.
steady?
You know, we could do better with this.
Yeah, I'd like to see our
We had
residents
bigger
increase.
containers, people don't have big enough
But-
containers. If we educate a little bit better, mine's like,
Yeah, my containers, my two.
I have cans now.
Every
I bought a big garbage can.
Put stickers
Stick
on
them
that.
on the side.
Because you
We
can
do
do
have
it.
stickers that we
Yeah,
do.
we still have stickers.
We still have stickers. If anyone wants to get a bigger can and put a sticker on that says recyclable, you know, you can come to the borough office, I guess, and get those.
Will we actually receive some money for our recycling?
We don't.
No, we were paying to get rid of it before.
So we're not paying any more.
People throw it out in the garbage, it's more money.
In the landfill.
Keep cost of recycling. You would think we would receive some money for the recycling product that we take.
Well, we did, up
One
until
time
we
we
went
did.
bankrupt.
and now, but the
Now
money
we
we
have to
save
start
is
to pay.
not, it used to all go to a landfill.
I understand.
Now, it's big.
I think our landfill bill, I mean, I signed the checks and they range from $5,000 to $7,000 for 3 weeks of trash. It's very expensive.
And we used to have to sort it. In the last 3 years, we no longer sort it. All
Single
goes to water.
source, yeah, single source now.
I have a question for Mr. Bicey, and maybe you, Mr. Chairman. Allegheny County notified us of a bridge, Homeville Creek Bridge #4 rehab. Did you get any information
Yeah, I got
on
that on that.
Okay, December 4th, 2014, the detour will be in effect from May to August.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a copy of that. Okay, thank you, that's good.
Is that Ravine Street?
Yes.
When?
May.
December 4th, it takes effect, that project to be scheduled to be let on December 4th, but the detour will be effective from May 26th to August 26th.
Bob, does that conclude your report?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. If so, we'll move on. Police Chief Pat.
Mr. Chairman, I believe you have a copy of my report. I will be brief. 611 incidents for the month, 63 arrests, 120 citations issued. One of those citations issued for speeding on the Western Road corridor. I'm talking to the mayor tomorrow about making some provisions for this Ferguson decision. We've been told by the feds, every law enforcement agency has been told to make plans on this. We're hoping we get a couple days notice before the decision is made. So we are maybe doing a couple different things in anticipation of that. Any questions?
When's that anticipated decision coming up? Any time?
Anytime.
All right.
Well, we don't have.
Thinking Friday, as early as Friday, maybe on Friday and after all.
Pat, does that conclude your report?
It does.
Any questions for the chief? If so, we'll move on. Fire Chief, Matt?
Yes, sir. For the month of October, the fire department responded to 47 calls. 393 hours were expended at those calls, 831 hours of training, 612 and a half hours other miscellaneous, so that's miscellaneous meetings that we attend, fire safety inspections, anything that doesn't fall under the other previous two categories. So that's a total of 1,836 volunteer hours for the month of October. No injuries, which is always a great thing. Couple other items for you. The new chief will be taking over the end of December, either the 30th or 31st, Ed and I are working that out. So next month will be my last council meeting. So it's been a pleasure with you guys, but you get Ed and maybe my hair will change back to the regular color again.
How many years have you been?
8 years as chief and 8 years as deputy, so 16 years I've come up. So I'm not going anywhere, I'm just gonna be downstairs, I won't be coming up. I'll stop up and see you once in a while.
Matt,
Thanks for your service.
personally, I want to thank you for your service. I think you did one hell of a job.
Thank you.
Being a fireman myself, so,
Thank you, thank you. A couple other items for you, just real quick. Fire prevention, last month was Fire Prevention Week. We go to the schools every year, so October, we had 25 different firefighters participated in the fire prevention programs at the schools. Those 25 firefighters, we talked to over 750 students, grades kindergarten through 5th grade, about fire prevention things. So it was excellent, good turnout by everybody, and all the kids enjoyed it. Yeah, good things. And that concludes my report.
Okay.
Unless anybody has anything they need to bring up.
If not, we'll move on. Dave Cannon, Code Enforcement.
You have a copy of my report. The only thing I have to ask council is, we can have light and abandoned property meetings for one a month. Are we gonna, have we set a date for the next one, or are we gonna wait till after the holidays?
We haven't set one yet, but I think it's contingent upon new information coming. I did get a new list, some things to add to the list. So it's kind of in limbo right now, but, I guess the progress report is that we have a lot of interested investors in buying and flipping properties. Legal Tax Service attended our last meeting and said there are a lot of properties that they have plans to take and get the, so what I'm looking for? Get the sheriff sales done. There are going to be properties for sale, so a lot of interest in getting them back on the tax roll. So everybody that's on the email list will get notified.
Hey, bro, anything on the Horton situation?
No, the county gave her till December 5th, I think.
You checking out what's going on? What's that?
They're probably gonna have to go in and clean up for her.
Any other questions for Dave? If not, we'll move on. I don't see the sewer authority manager here. So we'll move into items for consideration.
Okay, number one, motion to enact ordinance number 1568 for Munhall Borough to participate in the Regional Uniform Construction Code Appeals Board.
I'll make that motion.
Second. We have a motion and a second.
We're going to have a quick public hearing on this, as we do with all ordinances. This is an ordinance the council is considering to join a joint appeals board for matters pertaining to the Uniform Construction Code, proposed by the Steel Valley Council of Governments. Anyone have any questions or comments before council votes on this? All right, no comment from the public. That concludes the public hearing. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
We have one no, the motion passes.
Number two, motion to adopt resolution 2014-7 to amend vehicle and traffic regulations to install a stop sign at the corner of Center Street and Caroline Street.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
It's there already.
Well, we're ratifying what was done.
You put them up early, people get an idea that they're there. Then if there's any kind of people come and complain about them or whatever, do it here.
Okay. It caught me by surprise the other day. I was halfway through and I stopped.
Just a question about the yellow line on the curb. Is that painted, Bob? Do you know if that's painted up there? It is? because there was still, even with the stop sign, there were still some vehicles that parked right up on the stop sign, you can't see it. And I know cars coming out of that, you know, can't see it either.
Joe, Bob and I took a ride up there today. There was probably 2 car lengths before the stop sign that weren't occupied, but because you're coming down, the sign's down here, it's hard to see
Yeah,
even
it
when
is.
they're back, you know, the required length.
Can we have it on a higher stanchion?
I'm sure we could.
Because I knew that's why I was halfway through it by the time I
Right, you know,
saw
I
it.
mean, there was 2 vehicles parked on the right. They weren't within the violation zone, but it was still hard to see until you got right up on it.
Yeah, I think we need to make that higher.
No, I was here over the years, there was an issue where we had a stop sign that was actually too high. There was a regulation for it, and it was actually like a foot or two too high, and we had to bring it down, so I don't know if that's an issue or not.
I don't know, you know, I'm sure Bob would know that if there's no regulations. But I would think it needs to be raised.
Yeah, because when those trucks parked there, you know, especially the vehicles with the cabs, high cabs. you
There
can't see
was a
it.
van and an SUV parked there, like I said, Bob and I rode past it today. You didn't see
I wanted to see it
until you were
before the
right
meeting,
on
and I missed it.
Yeah,
I think we ought to make it, we ought to go as high as we're legally allowed to go under the state law on that sign.
just make sure the people stay parked, you know, far enough back.
And that wasn't, like I said, we rode up
Yeah.
there today and that wasn't an issue. It's just the way you're coming down the hill to a low point, you can't see it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion's unanimous.
Number 3, motion to appoint Borough Manager as the primary delegate and Donna Dreschman as this alternate delegate to the Allegheny County Southwest Tax Collection District for calendar year 2015.
Motion.
Second by Mr. Rodadian. Discussion on the motion, we already talked about it. Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion's unanimous.
Number 4, motion to appoint Edward Fletch as Munhall Borough Volunteer Fire Chief, to put effective January 1st, 2015.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the motion's unanimous. I do have one comment to make. Eddie's been a volunteer fireman for as long as I can remember. How many years, Ed? 30. 30 years. Congratulations and thank you.
We're going to look a day over 33. Number 5, motion to promote Robert Bicey as from interim public works supervisor to permanent public works supervisor, effective November 20th, 2014, and an annual salary of $60,000 and at the current benefit package.
Motion. Motion by Mr. Ingles, a second by Mr. Shields. I'll do that. Discussion on the motion.
Has everything that is work description, job description taken care of and everything?
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion's unanimous.
Congratulations, Paul.
Bob, how many years is it for you?
25.
25. Great, thank you for your service.
He does look a little older than 33.
Started with Steve.
Motion to appoint Rebecca Worth as part-time office assistant at an hourly rate of pay of $15 per hour and no benefits, effective upon the starting date as arranged by the borough manager.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Ingles. Any discussion on the motion? Becky had been here before, it was a loss to us when she left. We did want to get her back, especially with the loss of Harry Falk. We suggested that Bob call her. Bob did call her. They worked out the terms, make the offer, and with that, we can't wait to get her back.
I didn't really know her. I saw her here a couple times, but people commented to me, whoever you have down there that answers the phone is so courteous and deals with people so well. And you don't hear that all the time. And people that didn't even know who she was mentioned it to me, and then I found out myself. So she was very good when she was here.
Amen.
And the mayor gave his blessing. So with that, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion is unanimous.
Number 7, motion to direct the manager to solicit requests for proposals from auditing firms to perform the 2014 general fund audit.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously.
Number 8, motion to authorize the borough manager to file an application with the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for Unit Debt Act consideration and to request proposals from financial institutions for the tax anticipation note for 2015.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion's unanimous.
Another motion, number 7, which should be number 9. Motion to pay the bills for the period October 16, 2014 through November 14, 2014, is in the monthly bill list summarized as follows. Administration, $45,147.33. Police, $82,028.47. Fire, $23,469.92. Health and sanitation, $36,837.50. Public Works, $73,145.63. Recreation, $7,417.02. Miscellaneous, $100,802.16, for a total of $368,848.03.
Motion by Mr. Ingles, second by Mr. Ballas. Discussion on the motion. If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously.
Number 10, motion to approve payroll for the period of October 23, 2014 through November 7, 2014 as follows. October 23rd, $110,234.50. November 7th, $245,221.67.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Falk, second. Second by Mr. Ingles. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor of
Just
the
one
motion?
quick question.
Oh, yes.
Why the big discrepancy
The
here?
discrepancy there for November 7th, according to the collective bargaining agreement with the police, they get their longevity and holiday pay for that particular time period. That's why it's higher than normal.
Just wanted to make that clear to everybody in the audience who wasn't aware of that.
Okay. Any other questions? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion's unanimous. We do have another motion that was added as a result of our executive session.
I'll read it first. Okay, the next motion to approve the Campbell Foundation to conduct a preliminary review and analysis of the improvements to West Field, with the study to be completed at no cost to the borough.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Correction on that.
Yes, Mr. Bodine.
I think that should be Young Knightfield instead of Westfield.
Mayor William, W. Knight.
I withdraw my motion.
Yeah, we correct it.
I withdraw that.
We can accept an amendment to it. We'll accept that amendment. Thank you, Mayor and Rich, for pointing that out.
Yes.
William W. Knight, Memorial Field.
Will there be a name change?
No.
Probably
Thank
no.
you, thank you.
Does anybody else have anything else that they want to bring up as old business, new business, or otherwise? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Ingles. All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Or we
Real test.